Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Welcome back to Tip Today. Somebody pointing out the irony of having water issues when you look out the window and see the torrential rain that we've been having over the last while. But there you go. 083 311 3311. We are closing the lines on our Carrickdown competition right now because we've had a huge entry into that, and we will announce the winner of the €50 voucher a little bit later on. Deirdre was on to say, Fran, it appears to me that Irish Water is overseeing a managed failure of the service right across the board. As we all know, the EU are demanding water charges at government level, and the only way I see this playing out is if people end up demanding improvements, resulting in the government telling us that the only way they can do this is to charge us all for water. Managed failure plus incompetence to deal with the issue. Says Deirdre on 083 311 3311. All right then, it is time for interior design, and glad to be joined by Karen Prendergast in the studio. Good morning to you, Karen.
Good morning. I nearly swam in the road.
It's pretty bad out there, is it?
It is very wet and it's very windy. The wind is blown up as well, but I think we'll be in the clear by 5. But what can we do with the weather?
I know. We have no control
Only
over
stay safe.
Over it.
Stay safe on days like today, you know.
Whatsoever. Now, in a little while, I know you'll be talking about colours. So again, if people just have a pen handy for that, because
it would be handy because I'm going to go through 4 different types of shading. So people love when I give out the colours, and they do try and friend. So a pen and paper would be handy.
Right, and just to remind them again that you'll give a particular name to each colour. If people Google the name, they will be able to see.
Immediately the colour will come up in a swatch. Yeah.
Working with an interior designer to sort of to create whatever the vision for your home is, Karen. What about that, and what about the input you have into the
I'll tell you why I wanted to address it today, because the majority of people that are ringing an interior designer, be it me or anybody else, but I can only speak for myself, most of those people, when they make the initial call, they haven't ever spoken to an interior designer before. The chances are 90% Fran haven't. They might be a little bit apprehensive. Yeah. They're unsure how it works. So normally I pick up the phone and they'd say, "Oh, Karen, you know, we heard you on with Fran, or we got you on your website or whatever, or Facebook or Instagram, and I'm unsure if you can help me." So I'd say, "Tell me what you're thinking of doing." You know, to take the fear out of it. Tell me what you're thinking of doing, and I'll tell you if I can help you. I can tell you what the process is like. So a lot of people, I would say, are apprehensive and a little bit unsure of how to approach me. So I mean, it's important just to state that I mean, if I was ringing somebody and I wanted a job done for the first time that I'd never used that service before, I'd be apprehensive as well. I wouldn't be sure how to approach it.
So what happens then?
So I'm no different than any other service, really.
I get your number then from the programme or whatever. I ring Karen and I say, "Look, you know, I want to sort of have a look at the general design of the house over again. It's been 30 years since we did anything. You know, where do I start?" Is that a common question?
Yes,
where do I start?
Yes. So you know, how does it work? Where do I start? So I would say to everybody, everything starts with a one-off consultation. So whether I'm going to your house and I'm laying down with colour charts and brochures and samples of floors or whatever, or whether you're going and you're thinking of pulling out your kitchen, pulling out your bathroom, knocking a wall in the house, building an extension, maybe revamping a whole house. So everything has to start with an initial consultation. So there's a cost for that initial consultation. That takes anything between an hour and a half. But I would already have spoken to the person that I'm going to their house in detail before I get there, so I'd be armed with what I need.
Sure.
You know, I wouldn't be cold calling to the house as such. On that first initial call, they might book me, most people book me there, and then they might go off and come back to me, and I'd say, "Okay, tell me what we're looking at." And also I always say to people, because sometimes when people look at the website they think, "Oh, one room costs this much, another room costs this much." If you want 3 or 4 rooms, looks at it's 3 or 4 times the price. That's not the case at all. Right. So what I do is, for the amount of time that I go to the house, I'll help in any way I can. So they might bring me into another room. They might want their hallway and their sitting room done. Say, "Would there any chance you'd have a look in the bedrooms while I'm here?" So I'm not mean with my information. You know, I don't work like that.
So it's a general consultation.
It may be only for one room, friend. No, to answer your question, it may be only for one room.
Yes.
But often people might be afraid to ask me to have a look in another room or anything like that. Yeah. So it's not as strict as that.
I suppose.
It's time constrained as such, because if I was going to somebody at 11 o'clock and I was due into somebody else's house at 1 o'clock, well, I couldn't stay there for 3 hours because I'm on the road to the next job, you know. But so everything and anything goes.
But tell me, why do I need you in the first place? If I can say that respectfully.
Of course you can.
Why do I need you?
The majority of people are spending X amount of money, be that €500, €1,000, 20,000, 100,000 or plus. Okay? And they kind of know what they want. They do have an idea of what they like on Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook and the whole lot, but they're unsure how to put it together. And they're afraid of spending the money and making a mistake. So I suppose I remember when we used to be down in the old station on Saturday mornings. I did Saturday mornings there for years and years on a show there. And our biggest call throughout the years has been, I've bought something, mostly a suite of furniture for my house and it's too big. Can you come and help me? What can I do? I most certainly can go and try and help you and change things around in the room. But if it's very big in the beginning, it's very big, full stop. So there's definitely a fear of spending the money and not buying the right item, size, or maybe colour. Or a person maybe might be buying 5 or 6 or 7 different things in a room, items in a room, and they're afraid that if one of them is going to cost a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand, that one of them is going to be wrong and not work. So I think a big thing is spending the money incorrectly and buying something that doesn't suit.
So it would be better to chat to you before you make purchase.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Because we've all done, well, I'm sure you haven't, but I mean, we bought a suite that was too big for the front room, and I can't believe that we did it, you know.
But I mean, it's not it's not that anybody is going out to solely make a mistake and buy the wrong thing, but I always say that here with you. Bring the measurements to the room. They can be rough. They don't have to be perfect. You're not an interior designer or anybody listening. Bring a rough measurement to the room. Bring as many pictures as you can on your phone. Show it to the person in the shop. If the person in the shop doesn't ask, they might be busy. It's not that they won't help, but the more information you can bring with you, the more help you can get. Yeah. And talk it out and go through every aspect of it. Sit down in a suite of furniture if you're kind of down to 1 or 2 and you can't decide on which one. If you have to sit down in it 10 times each, if you have to lie down in it, because when I go in and I'm buying a suite of furniture and I'm doing up a sitting room or I'm doing up a living room or maybe the far end of a kitchen that there's going to be couching, the first thing I'll say, and sometimes I have to approach it delicately enough. Do you lie down would you throw yourself down on the couch? I would say not would you lie down, would you throw yourself down on the couch? Because I might. I said, and if I did, a 2-seater house couch is no good to me, so you need a 3-seater. Loads of people love L-shaped couches. Sometimes they don't work if more than 2 people want to throw themselves down. There's one on either end. So I'm always asking the question, well, how many people are going to be in this room at any one given time? If you throw yourself down the couch, forget a 2-seater, it's never going to work. It's going to have to be a 3-seater. You may need 2 3-seaters. Not huge ones, but handy sized 3-seaters, and maybe a chair in the room as well. So it's not as simple as you get an interior designer and they go in and they come in with loads of colour charts and they help you with the colour and maybe help you with the floor. I've so many other questions to ask other than people are always thinking, I've 20 colour swatches up on the wall and I'm lost, I don't know what to do. I go in and I decipher the room, I ask a load of questions, I have a mooch around, I have a look. I'm going into that person's room or house for the first time, so I have a lot of questions to ask to make sure I give them the right.
I think one of the great fears that people have about approaching somebody like you is that we've been watching these programs on TV all the time, and we've been watching these makeovers, and some of them are absolutely ridiculous, and we're afraid that you'll impose something on our home. Yeah,
and that's a really important point. And I suppose if somebody is checking out an interior designer, they can look at their website, they can look at their Facebook and Instagram, they have an idea of what way they work, you know, what their room, the before and after pictures looks like and the whole lot. But yeah, there is that little bit of crazy there, but I would be more a kind of classical style, as in if I'm doing something for a person, I would be hoping that there'd be a little bit longevity in it. I'll give you an instance for the minute. I have a couple that I'm doing a house for. I'm on it quite a long time now. Maybe I'm there 8 months at the moment. We'll be finished maybe in the springtime. But no matter what happens, they're getting an orange couch in their sitting room. And that's absolutely fine, but I'll make sure everything else in the house
well, they're
is
insisting on an orange.
Yeah, and they want that, and I don't have any problem with that because they told me that earlier on in the job.
Right.
So instead of going for a very heavy colour in the kitchen, I've talked units, which is costing a lot of money, a lot more than couch. I've talked them back to a more neutral colour, but I'm giving them a colourful island unit, and I'm matching that island unit with their vanity unit in their main bathroom and their tiles. So the whole...
So the theme.
It's not just... We're not just zoning in on the orange couch. With a heart and a half, they can have the orange couch, but I had to... work that into the design.
Into the overall.
So we had to hold back on the kitchen colour a little bit. And we worked back then from that orange couch through the whole house.
I can't help but be nosy. Why an orange couch?
Because she loves orange.
Okay.
She loves orange and she doesn't have a problem. And would you believe it, when we went looking for orange couches, they're 10 a penny. They mightn't be necessarily in the store, but the colour
is available.
Is it fabric or is in the swatches? Yeah, is available. So they were more than delighted to get me that they didn't end up maybe making other things in the house stand out. Do you understand me?
Yes.
That are costing a lot of money.
But are you saying to me as well, if you have something that's a very strong statement, you have to surround that maybe carefully, is that?
Yes, you're a little bit more low-key, a little bit more neutral, and I'm always of the opinion the likes of flooring, kitchen units, tiling, I believe they should be kept somewhat quite neutral, because if you go crazy with them, you're not taking out a kitchen anytime soon, you're not taking up tiles off the floor, you're not taking tiles off the wall. So I'm always quite what will I say, I'm steady.
Okay.
I'm steady. Okay. So by bringing me into a job, I might be steadying a person up. There could be confrontation in the house. This happens 80% of jobs. One person doesn't want to change certain things. The other person does. Maybe they don't want to paint the timber work that's in the house, or the kitchen units, or the pine stairs, or the mahogany stairs. The other person does. So I said, and I often say that quite often I'm going in and I'm making... helping them make a decision that there's a compromise on some items in the house.
Right.
And that could be down to spend too. So one person might want to spend an awful lot more than the other person. So then we might talk about budget. A lot of the time we don't talk about budget because there's no need, but sometimes we do, and I might often have to claw back a little bit, and we'll say, well, we'll spend the money here, but we'll spend less here, but our budget will stay the same.
Right, but you have to be pragmatic about the money, haven't you? You know,
it can run amok. Fran, very easy.
Very easy, I would
it can run amok,
indeed,
you know. So I'm always conscious of budget. I'm always conscious of a time frame. If we have to rip out a house or a bathroom or a kitchen, we could have somebody coming out of hospital there I had a few weeks ago that we had to rip out a bathroom and get it ready, and a bedroom immediately. That happened in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks, because we had to do it. But again, I had a time frame there to work with as opposed to a budget, and had to call in all the tradespeople and said, look, I'm on this job, I have this job, can you help me out? I need to get it done within 2 weeks, and we did. You know, so there's a lot of aspects to my job. It's just not it's just not colour, it's not just design. Often you're dealing with the personalities in the house, illness in the house, different things going on that you could come across all the time as an interior designer.
I suppose, if you had the kind of money, you could have Karen back every year and you could follow all the latest fashions and stuff. But did you say to me you prefer a classic look because there's longevity in
I
that?
do.
Is that it?
And I would have, and going back to that, I would have people that say to me through the years, because next year is my 30th year as an interior designer, you know, and I would have people that say, I'm going to do my kitchen, or I'm going to do my sitting room, I'm going to spare up then, and then I'm going to get you back in a year, I'm going to do my bedroom, then I'm going to do another room, and so forth. So I would have clients that would be getting me quite often, but they wouldn't do the whole lot together, you know, or they mightn't be in a position that a couple of rooms could be ripped up at the same time, and they might do one or two or whatever. So I think hiring an interior designer isn't necessarily about having a lot of money. It's about having a bit of cop on how you spend your money and make sure that the end product is what you wanted in the beginning.
Well, Karen, can you save me a few bob?
Yes. I'm wicked for wheeling and dealing. Okay. Every shop I go into, if anyone's listened that works in the shops, then I always ask for money off. And I have to say, for anybody that's had me as an interior designer, I'm the least mean person that you could hire. But I always try and look for a bit of a bargain and a banter. And to be honest, because I'm using the same shops all these years,
you have a relationship.
I don't get the discount, but the client will get the discount.
In the 30 years, what have you noticed? I mean, are people more adventurous now? Are they?
No, I don't think they're more adventurous. I think definitely what I've noticed, and we would have touched on this during the year, definitely what I've noticed is houses aren't as open plan as before.
Oh, I thought the opposite.
Yeah, I think they're not.
Are they going back to rooms?
I think they're going back a little bit more to rooms. I think that you're still getting plenty of glass, but not as much as we might see in some television programmes through the years. And I think people are definitely more budget conscious, and I say that with jobs that they could be spending a couple of 100,000 or whatever. People want to know what the cost is before they start the job.
Of course, yeah.
And that's where a lot of people fall down. If they don't have somebody costing, they don't know how much a job is going to cost, and it just spirals out of, say they think it's going to cost 5 for a bathroom, it ends up costing 8 or 10, and they're thinking the 5 would have done it, but they didn't do the homework first. So I think of all the things, houses aren't as open plan in the last 3 or 4 years. There's a little bit less glass. Everything is, people are thinking of energy when they're buying anything for the house now. They're thinking of energy efficient because electric bills are so big. Yeah. And budget is big. Budget is huge, friend. Knowing the cost of what you're
It's interesting,
entailing.
But it has to be, and I'd be very strict about this, Karen. It has to be home, though, hasn't it? You know, it's no good having this palace that neighbours go, "Oh, isn't that lovely?" But it has to be home.
Look, I've done farmhouse lately, and there's a couple of dogs inside in it, and a farmhouse as well, and they're coming into utility and straight into the kitchen. And I said, and we picked out a tile that looks like a timber floor. Yes. Absolutely fantastic for that house. But there was no way that I could have given him a porcelain tile or a shiny tile or a really modern tile, because it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have taken the wear and tear. Now that's the unglamorous side of talking about a floor, right? Back to the same thing. If you're buying a bed, it needs to be okay for the people or the person that you're buying the bed for, the same as the couch. If it doesn't work for you, I've gone into, I'd say, 3 jobs this year that I've had to take up tiles on floors, spang new tiles on floors that the people of the house couldn't keep, or they were too skiddy. And I have had to go back in and get a tiler, take on the job and get a tiler to take up those tiles and put down new tiles.
Now, they probably looked wonderful in the shop.
They looked absolutely fantastic.
Right.
But 2 people, they couldn't keep them. Now, they weren't the same tile, obviously. 2 of them, they couldn't keep them. And one of them was too slippy and it was too dangerous. So there was money spent badly because it just wasn't investigated enough. They probably should have brought home a couple of tiles, put them down the floor, tested them out and the whole lot. Does that seem like a bit of hardship to you? Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Well,
to do that.
But it could save me a lot of money.
But it could save you a lot of money.
You have some colours with you. What have you got?
So what I've done is I've zoned them in this morning. I went into my box of that I never use, because these colour charts are the size of these colour charts are actually obsolete. So I went into all my spang new ones to bring them into this morning. So I have some neutrals, which are off whites, which are very good for the walls, but particularly timber work. Okay. And then I'm going to go into neutrals, greens and blues. All right.
So again, if you have a pencil or a pen with you on this, and if you Google the name that Karen gives out, you'll see
it'll come up in a colour swatch with the name.
Okay, so what have we got?
So the first one is Arctic Blonde. It's an off-white, super for timber work, for wardrobes in the bedroom, for a kitchen units or whatever. Great for a wall too, but a beautiful timber work colour.
It's warm, isn't it?
It is warm. It's Arctic Blonde.
Okay.
The second one I have is Alabaster White. Again, different to the first one. A little bit more yellow in it, would you say? Even though it's not yellow, but a little bit more of a golden tone in it.
Not quite as bright, maybe.
Not quite as bright. Alabaster White.
Okay.
Our next one, actually done a kitchen up the west in this lately. It's called milk teat.
Okay. And again, how would you describe that again?
I would say
it's a white as well,
it's an off-white with a little bit of cream in it, whereas the alabaster white I thought was a little bit of golden in it. So it's an off-white and it's called milk teat. Lovely colour for kitchen units particularly. The next colour then is, I'm going into the neutrals, is temperance. I've spoken about this colour all year long. In my own house at the moment now, I've got all my bookcases done in temperance. I've also, but that's in satin wood or eggshell. So if you're going to be doing timber work in any of these colours, it's a satin wood or eggshell finish you're looking for. But I also done the walls in it, Frank.
Right, and how would you describe temperance?
I would say there's a hint of grey in it. Okay. So it's an off-white with a tiny hint of grey in it, but not very much.
Okay.
The next one then, it's a beautiful colour.
Gorgeous,
I can see a little hint of green in this. It's called Watch House.
Watch House, okay.
Yeah. Stunning colour.
Okay, will people be able to see this on your social media as well?
Yeah.
Okay, Watch House.
They're not up because I decided to do this last minute this morning, but they will be up tomorrow. The next one, beautiful rich colour for kitchen units, wardrobes, built-in units in your sitting room. It's one of the colours that you can get in the kitchen shops. Ivory tusk.
Okay.
Stunning.
That is a beautiful colour, all right.
Nice and rich, but
Ivory
still
tusk.
quite pale.
Yeah.
Next one, a beautiful green. Spinifex. Spinifix. So that's Spinifex. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And, on the same lines as the ivory tusk, but much darker.
Right, okay. We just have about 20 seconds left if you want
Portland
to just choose. Portland, you often mention that, yeah.
Palmhouse Fountain.
Okay, what is that? Is that a green as
Green.
well? Yeah.
Storehouse, another green.
Oh,
new colour out.
That's
beautiful.
Lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Little Egret, Littleegret.
What is that?
Grey.
Grey, okay.
Morning Mist, very light, very, very light blue.
Oh, this
and
one I
one
love.
of my favourite colours on my Instagram and everything, you'll see a sitting room done in this colour. Dragonfly Wing.
Oh, it's beautiful,
Stunning.
isn't it? Yeah. How describe that for me now?
It's a medium blue.
A medium blue, yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Very rich.
Real atmospheric.
A kind of a royal colour.
Yeah, okay. Very, very nice indeed. If people want to talk to you, Karen,
they can contact me on 086 606 9009. Interior Concepts on Facebook, Instagram, and my website is Interior Concepts as well.
Very good. And before I let you go, somebody wants to know, do you know anybody who does upholstery for couches and chairs? You need to give me a number, but if people want to make contact,
if they want to make contact me, I'll give them the details.
Okay, yeah. Do you believe in that notion, by the way,
yes.
of reupholstering, I suppose?
I have 4 Queen Anne's and a huge 3-seater sofa that cost a lot of money. I got them recovered 6 years ago. They almost cost the same money to get them recovered again, but the couches were handmade in Ireland. I wasn't going to throw them away. So is a good upholstery job worth the money? Yes, but it is expensive, but it's worth it.
Okay, good to see you, Karen. Thanks very much. Did you give out your number? You did?
I did,
yeah. Thanks, Karen. We'll take a break.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tip today on 1-800-938-007.